guys, welcome back to Lisa's Stavenall Art. I'm Lisa. Today I wanted to share with you what I am using, my art supplies that I'm currently using to create my paintings, sketches, everything. So we're going to do a deep dive into my art supplies, what I use, why, the tests or comparisons I've done on my other channel, which I'll link. Hopefully I can put a card in the video when I get to those parts. We'll see. Anyway, I'll link the other channel below in case you want to go check out some of those comparisons if I cannot link at least one in the video, this video, and one at the end. We'll see. But anyway, I did a short on this painting. This is a painting I had done a while back, and I thought it was finished. One of the first really large paintings I did when I started painting full time. And it was horrible. It was horrible. When I looked at it, I was just like, oh my God, I'm horrified. So I've come back, I'm cleaning it up, I'm adding some depth, some interest by adding shades of green to the stem and the leaves. I've tried to add a little shadow, a little light, that sort of thing. And now I'm going to work on the flowers because they're flat. The whole thing was flat. The only good thing in this painting I liked before I started refreshing it were the clouds. I love the clouds. These are probably some of the best clouds I've ever done. They have depth, they have movement, interest, but the stems and the flowers were flat. And they were horrible. I mean, the leaves were just, it was horrible. In fact, if I took a before I started kind of cleaning this up, I'll put it here. I don't even know how I could think this was finished. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Sorry. But it is, in a way. Because as I'm redoing this, I'm pulling in all of the supplies I'm using now. When I painted this, I was only using acrylic paint in my paintings. So I was an acrylic paint artist. I have since evolved my title into mixed media artist because not only do I use acrylic paint, I use watercolor, I use oil sticks, I use oil paint, I use, sometimes I'll use paper. So there are many colored pencils, markers, I said. Okay, there's a lot of mediums that go into my paintings now. So I'm a mixed media artist. And I wanted to share some of those with you today. In fact, I'm going to share everything until you want. So let's just jump into this video. But before we do, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with that little bell. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with that little bell. And when the little bell, it'll say, click all. That way, every time I post, you'll just get a notification. It's not annoying. It doesn't email you. It just lights up the little bell at the top of your screen and lets you know, hey, this person posted that you are following. That's all it does. At the end of this video, if you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a thumbs up as well. And if you could leave me a comment, all of these things help me grow this channel, which I would love to grow. So now let's jump in. This is my art cart. I'm going to see if I can back it up a little bit. Let's see here. Going to let you see the whole thing, then we'll come in close again. This is the whole thing. It's 3 tiers. Isn't it cute? And it's pink, so yes, I'm in love. Okay, so we're going to start with the top area here. And this has most of my paints. The rest are on my desk, which I'll flip you around when we get to those. I have my brushes. These brushes I bought one at Jerry's Artarama in Dallas and one at Hobby Lobby. And they're the same brush, same brand. And I think I paid a little bit more at Hobby Lobby than I did at Jerry's. But that's okay because Jerry's Artarama is in Dallas and I'm a little bit away from Dallas and it's not just a quick drive. So I'll pay a little bit more for convenience, plus gas now. We all know. Anyway, so these are some of my favorite big brushes. I like big brushes because you don't have as much control. So I love these. I'd like to get some in between like this size and this size, a few more. But I'm working on it, you know. Can't just run out and buy stuff anymore. And that's okay. Treat you to appreciate what you have. So these I use for actual acrylic painting on the painting itself. Now this brush and, oops. Now these two brushes, which you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, are just painter cheap painting brushes. And I use these to gesso over paintings, to gesso over blank canvas, and to put my base underpainting down. That's what I use these for. And this brand's actually good. It doesn't shed to be as cheap as they are. They are Royal and, well, this one is Royal and, I can't say it, but there. And this is a good brand. It doesn't like shed on my paintings or anything. And this one is also a good brand if you can read it through all the paint. So I like those two brands for doing, you know, the undercoat gesso stuff. Now, for painting, my favorite brushes, and they come in all these different sizes, is this brand right here. You can see I have from tiny to the biggest one right here. And these are they are Transon, and this is a, sorry guys, I had a migraine yesterday. I am dropping stuff like crazy today. A 10, a 3. You can't even tell on some of these. I've had them so long. A 5. Anyway, they come in a pack. And you get like 12 in a pack from big to little. And this is the biggest one. These are the biggest ones you get. Which I wish they came just a little bit bigger than this. But they don't. That's fine. And they go down to really tiny. I think this is the tiniest one you get. Love this. Got them on Amazon. Of course, I'll link them below for you. Then this one I like. It is an Arteza paintbrush, and I have this one. And these came in an advent calendar. I got these in an advent calendar, but there you can see what they are. What they are. Right there. And this is one too, same brand, Arteza. I love these, but they're super expensive. But I love them. And like I said, those I got in a advent calendar, Arteza advent calendar, a few years ago. And I'll try to link that video at the end of this video. So hopefully, because it's on my other channel, so hopefully you can go check it out. Now, all of these blue ones, they're 1 inch, and I got a whole box of these on Amazon. I'll link them below. They don't shed, they don't fall out, and they last a really long time. Some of mine are very old, and they're just great. I love these things. Now, you can see this one probably needs to be thrown away, but I like it. This one might get thrown away soon, but I've probably been using it for 3 or 4 years. So that is not bad. And let's see what else. This is a set I got off of Amazon for really detailed tiny work. You know, lines that on leaves, trees, birds, flowers. And these are that. I don't know if you can see it if I do that. That. And again, these are off of Amazon, and they're good. Anything that doesn't shed, I like. Now, these two are Princeton brushes. I'm pretty sure I got these at Michael's. Because, you know, Michael's has an artist section. I got that one teeny tiny because I need little bitty fine brush ends. That. And then this is a teeny tiny fan brush. And again, it's the same Princeton. And like I said, I think those came from Michaels. And then I have some just junk brushes in here that Larry, when he passed away, I cleaned out his stuff. He had some of these for his Legos. He did Legos, and he had some of these. So anyway, I grabbed them, and I don't use them much, but I have them. And then lastly, I have these long brushes. And I'm thinking I got all of these at Jerry's Art-A-Rama. And these are all small ones. This one's a little different. And it doesn't have a name on it, but this one is the same as the first one I showed you. And again, they're small, but they have the long handles, so I can loosen up, paint by the end, and just get crazy marks, which I like to do. So those are the paint brushes I use. Most of them are from Amazon. Love them. Okay, and then on the back side of the cart, there's this little pouch, and this is all my non-brush stuff. I have a mascara brush, which is great for getting lines. I have a stick, just nature's stick. I have a big fluffy makeup brush to blur. I have a makeup fan brush to blur. I have these makeup brushes that I got out of my box from my friend. We're going to use those. Then I have some different sized palette knives. And I've got more. We're going to do a tour to the other side of the room and show you more art supplies in a minute. But I have 4 of those. This is an Artisan one. It came in that advent calendar. And then I used to have a Cricut, and I kept this palette knife, even though that might not have been what it was used for. Then I have this. It's like something to paint with. And I have this one to get those lines in. And these came from Jerry's Art-A-Rama. And the makeup brushes, spoolie for your eyelashes, came from Dollar Tree. Or my friend. Okay, but hers came from Dollar Tree too. Okay, now paints. What kind of paint do I use? When I first started painting, I had a ton of craft paint. Still do. And that's what I use. I like the Deco Art. It's one of my favorite. I also use the brand from Michaels, the Craft Smart. Okay, I like it. There's a lot of colors. It's light fast. It's archival. So it's all great for painting. Plus, this little thing might be 98 cents. They were 59. I think they're 89 or 79 now. So, you know, you can't beat it. You can get every color in the world. But as I've gone along, I've started investing in a little bit more expensive paints. I have the Master Touch, which is an acrylic brand for Hobby Lobby. I like this one. I really like the white. The white's what got me hooked. It's very creamy, very thick, and you can see the texture when you paint with it. So I like that. So I got a bunch of others. I like their burnt sienna. I like the blue. So I like, but that's Liquid Basics. Hold on. So I like the Master Acrylics. This is a turquoise for like water. Love that. So I love this. They have a lot of colors, but sometimes they can feel a little plasticky. I ran into that a lot with the greens. That when you're putting them down, they kind of look plasticky, but I think if you work with them more, they get okay. So I have those. But I've also been purchasing of late a lot of the Liquid Basics acrylics. I love these. I love these paints. I can get them at Hobby Lobby. I love the different shades. I paint a lot of nature. I'm a nature artist. So I get a lot of the greens, turn 3 colors of the greens. As you can see, I've got 4 different colors there. I love that. I love the brightness, the depth I can get. So I really am into buying the Liquid Basics acrylics now. But I'm also starting to want heavy bodies because I want that thicker body that I get like I do with this white from the Master's Touch, the Hobby Lobby collection. So I'm starting to use those more. And one brand that I love that I only buy the linen flower is because this one tube is $18. This is my paint splurge. Everything else doesn't even come close to this. These tubes, as you can see, are $5.99. Sometimes you can get them cheaper, like $5.19. I just ordered some from Jerry's Artarama because the art store was closed when I went Tuesday. I went to Dallas Tuesday for a doctor's appointment. It was pouring down rain. Could not see the whole way there. Couldn't see when I got there. Went to my doctor's appointment. After I got out, I always go to the art store because there's no art store here. When I got over there, the art store was closed because of a gas leak in the shopping center. So I was really bummed. So I had to come home and do an order online. But this is $5.99 Latex Basics paint from Hobby Lobby. The ones I got on Jerry Artarama's site were on sale, and I think I paid $5.19, which I'll take any deal. But anyway, this is the blue that you see on the blue skies everywhere in my paintings. Love this blue. My one splurge, I will never stop splurging on it, but everything else is way less than $18. So Liquitex, you can see, I have a variety. I get a lot of colors because I want browns, depth, a lot of nature colors, stuff to be able to add, and stuff to be able to mix my own colors. And that's something I'm really starting to want to do, is mix colors. So you have to have certain colors to mix colors. So I've been stocking up on that because I do want to mix more colors. Some paints that I've absolutely fallen in love with are the 12 Shades of Grey. My God, these are beautiful. The green for plants, anything outside. The brown for tree trunks, any type of trunk or brown. It's a great base. Of course, you add on to these, but it's beautiful because nature has some gray in it, and these are amazing. And I actually ordered 2 of these because the brown is almost out. The green is halfway. And I ordered a gray red because I thought how beautiful for stuff that's been outside that's weathered. So that's coming. Okay, so those are my paints on the top shelf. Before we go to the second shelf, I want to flip you around and show you the paints on my desk, which are basically more of the same, but I do want to talk about a couple of things real quick. So we're going to flip around. My water, my soda, gotta have both. Okay. Over here on my desk, I have more of the craft paints, which I'm using, but I also have some golden acrylic paints. And I got these in a birthday gift in 2022 or 2023. I didn't use a lot of them yet, but I'm starting to use them because I only got colors to mix with. So the golden, let's see if I can get them turned. The golden have inspired me to mix more too. And yes, you can mix acrylic paints. I have 2 different ones. This is a slow drying blue, and then I have the slow drying in the alizarin crimson hue. Then I have golden acrylic and titanium white, not slow drying, just plain. And I have it in the yellow. And then I have it in the Quercadone magenta. So these are all mixing colors. Another reason I've started mixing. Then when I did my advent calendar from Arteza a few years ago, I got some tubes of paint. These are the 2 watercolors. And if you don't know, acrylic paint, when it's wet, is a water-based paint. You can clean your brushes with water. So watercolor and acrylics actually go really well together. I also got some acrylic paints in that same advent calendar. And then I've got one oil paint. Now, I received some more metallics. I don't do metallics, but yeah. But I got one oil paint. And yes, I do mix in oil paints in some of my paintings. Now, let's go down to my cart on the second shelf, because that's where a lot of the items that I mix into my paintings are. And there are a lot of mixed media items. On my second shelf, I have the DecoArt suede paints. Just another unique texture. I have them in the burgundy and the plum, in the olive, and suede, the color suede. And it was a set, and it was on sale, khaki and light fern. So those are all suede, which for a plant leaf, you know, sometimes they look furry, would be, I think, a really great. And then next we have the DecoArt, hold on. We have the DecoArt Wax Effect paints. I also have them in neutral and raw umber. And then I have them in sap green and burnt sienna. And I have the wax effects in translucent white. Now, I also have the two impastos, DecoArt impasto paints in burgundy and green, deep green. I can use all those in my art. I haven't yet, but it's coming up. Trust me, it's coming up. Now, some things I have used in my paintings recently are markers. And some of my favorite markers are these extra large Moltov markers. This one is in plum, right? Is it plum? These are 15 millimeter. I love how big and chunky these things are. I love working with them. It's a light purple. I have a dark green. I only have 4 of the big chunky ones. I have a brown, and I have a burgundy. But the burgundy and the plum are beautiful for sunsets together. And then, of course, plants, ground for these two. Love them. I love how large they are. I love that they're chunky. They're just so fun to work with, being that chunky. And then also other chunky markers, before I get to the thin ones, are my Posca chunky ones that my son gave me 2 years ago for Christmas. I have the brown chunky, the black, and then 2 shades of green. Love using the chunky markers in art. You almost feel like you don't have a lot of control when you're using them. And it's just so much fun to... It's so much fun to feel like you don't have that control. Okay, I'm going to put this stuff back real quick. The suede paints, I think, will look beautiful for leaves, different kinds of leaf textures. I also think they'll look beautiful for different types of petal texture. Okay, before we leave markers, I have the Moltov in yellow. This is a 4 millimeter. The largest ones that I just showed you were 15. And then I have a green. So I love to add markers. These are all acrylic markers in the Posca and the Moltov. I also love using colored pencils. And of course, I did a colored pencil comparison. I'll link it above. My favorite right now are the Caran d'Ache Luminance and the Caran d'Ache Museum. But you can only buy these colors, a few pencils at a time, because they are expensive and they're like $5 a pencil. So I have bought these over 3 years, guys. 3 years, and I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I have 21. So over 5 years, over 3 years, I have 21. Which means I bought 7 of these a year because they are expensive. They're $5 a piece. But these are my favorite. But because I'm buying them one at a time, because if you buy a whole set, it's super expensive. The reason I'm buying them one at a time then, right? But if I don't have a color that I really need, then I go back to my tried and true Crayola watercolor pencils. And you might be like, what? You've got the most expensive and the cheapest. These guys work. They work. They're not as smooth on acrylic paint as I wish they were, which is why I started investing in these Caran d'Ache. These are super, super smooth on paints. On paintings you've already, on paint, on acrylic paint, oil paint. They're super smooth. They go on creamy and smooth. These kind of have a little drag. They don't look as good, but they still fill in a pinch for me. But this is where it's at. If you want good colored pencils that work on top of acrylic paint, oil paint, the Caran d'Ache is, it's awesome. So that second shelf is my mixed medias that I mix in with the top shelf, just straight acrylics. Now what is on the bottom shelf? The bottom shelf has my gesso. This one is almost empty. This is my gesso I use all the time. I'll link it below, but I bought this last time a Liquitex gesso. They were the same price, same amount, so we're going to try it. And then I have my underpainting, my Soho Bright Orange. Love Soho, have a Soho problem. Paper down here that I make texture into my paintings with. This is a heavy modeling paste. All this is for texture so far. I have a coarse texture medium, again, to give it like a grainy, sandy look. Then this is matte varnish when you finish with your painting. That's a matte varnish. Then I have this gloss fluid medium. And you can either mix your paint with this to thin your paint into a wash. Or you can use this to glue paper, which I showed you in a different video. I was using a heavier one, but that one's great too. I have the Gamble & Gauqued to mix with your paint, oil paints. Helps them dry faster because it thins them. I tell you, I'm getting into oils, guys. I have High Flow Medium, which thins and extends acrylic colors. And I have Matte Varnish, we already talked about. And I have a Slow Dry Medium that you mix this in with your paint, and your acrylic paint will take longer to dry, and which means you can manipulate it longer periods of time. And that's what's on the bottom besides baby wipes to clean up any mess, extra little paintings. That's what's down here. This is more mixed media and stuff I use behind you on a shelf. And there's a few shelves, I'll show you all of them. The top is just stuffed animals. I'm not going to show you that. Okay, here are all my Posca markers. Here are the large ones. You saw some of those I have pulled out in my cart. Well, my kids have given me Posca markers for years and years for Christmas and Mother's Day, so that's why I have so many packs. I'm very fortunate. These are all off-brand markers that I did in a marker test to try to test cheaper markers versus expensive. These are Faber-Castell. These are the mix and match alcohol ink. And their I'll put the names above because I don't remember. These are Faber-Castell, and then these are No Name right here in this section. And then I have the Ohua. Well, these are name brand, sorry. Okay, these are all off-brand markers here. These I use a lot. These are pastels. And if you ever need a pastel, this is great. They're a good brand. I like these. They weren't super expensive. I'll link them down below. But I have all these because I did that comparison for markers in art. And then I have the Ohua. And these are like skin tone colors and stuff. I'll link these down below too. All good. Love them all. Use them all in different things. When I'm trying to paint people, I will pull those out. More colored pencils, watercolor pencils are right here. A lot of these I tested. The Derwent were given to me. I have the Derwent Chroma Flow, which I like. Then I have the chalk pastel colored pencils. I hate these, guys. They are so scratchy. I cannot stand them. And I might be doing a giveaway for these because why should I keep them? I'm not going to use them, and I'm all about share the love. So these may be going to somebody. Like and follow my channel now if you want to hear when the giveaway is. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to give those away. These are so scratchy on paper. Oops, I got to change my battery. Hold on. We did all the markers. This is the colored pencils. And like I said, if you want a chance to win the Derwent chalk pastels, follow me and I will do a giveaway soon. All sorts of colored pencils under here. These are chalk. These are chalk pencils. I have them taped because the lid doesn't work. Okay. See, all sorts of chalk pencils. But these are so messy. I do like chalk. I am going to be doing more chalk, but... And I have some chalk stuff in here as well. I just try to keep everything organized and neat. It helps my crazy brain. This is the B7000 glue. These are all the glues. This is the drawing gum. If you are using watercolor, you can put this down and it won't bleed into other things. We'll do a demonstration on the drawing gum in the weeks ahead. I have Mod Podge. I have Light Cure resin, and we are actually going to do a video on this because I want to put it on, I don't see it right now. I have a little 4x4 or 2x2 painting, and I want to put this on this Light Cure resin. So we're going to test this out too in upcoming videos. Art. Now this is all the glue. I have so much again because I did a glue comparison for you guys. And in the end, if you've watched me at all on my crafting channel, Elmer's glue. But anyway, you can go over there and watch it. Alright. On this shelf, can you see it? No, let me fix the camera. So this shelf is more mixed media that I actually add into my art. So what is on this? The main thing are my oil sticks. I love oil sticks. If you don't know, oil sticks are oil paint in a big crayon stick form. Love these. Have tons of these. Love oil sticks. Always are adding them into my art. Something else I love are oil pastels. Now, oil sticks dry. Might take them a little bit, but they dry. Oil pastels do not dry. Chalk pastels do not dry. You have to set them with a spray. But here are my oil pastels. As you can see, The greens are almost gone. I love the Soho brand, but hey, Soho, sell individual sticks, not sets. I want individual green sticks of Soho oil paints, but you can't get them. So I got these. And I do like these. They're just not quite as creamy, but they're really good. These are, again, all the Soho oil pastels, and these Holbein oil pastels are from Jerry's Artarama. And I like the Holbein a lot. So I've been using those. And then another oil pastel I have are the Crayola oil pastels, which again I like. My favorite though are the Soho and the Holbein. And then I have Pentel oil pastels. And then I have the handmade soft pastels from Unison. These are very flaky, so if I use those, I kind of want to be outside. And then I have new pastels, which are like oil pastels, but they're a little firmer. They're like crayons almost. And then I have the watercolor crayons from Sargent. I like these. I've used these in a lot of art you've seen. So I love all of those. And then, I tell you, today I have the dropsies after having a migraine yesterday. It's driving me nuts. Somewhere. I also have a few of the Doug Smith watercolor crayons. But again, Doug Smith watercolor crayons are so expensive that I just bought 4. And I bought a green, a yellow, a blue, and I think that's black, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, and black. And I really want to get, he has a bunch of green in these that I want to get. But this is another thing, like the colored pencils. You have to buy these suckers one at a time. So I bought 4, and it was expensive. So you have to trust the process and trust yourself. Then on this other end, down there, this end right here are all my acrylic inks, which again, I use in art. They might be under a lot of paint. You don't see them, but they're in there. So I use a lot of mixed media. Now we're going to go down to this shelf right here. This is all my watercolor paints. This is watercolor, this is watercolor, these two. And then these are all acrylic kits and oil kits that I've been given over the years. Some of them are dry. I just keep moving them. But getting into oil paint, I'm sure I'll be pulling out a few of those little sets soon. But these are the watercolors I use all the time. This one is off Amazon, and so is this one. I love both of them. They're both used a lot. And again, the watercolor sticks. And then the watercolor crayons I just showed you up here. Love all of that. Now, this is something I got for Christmas, and we are about to pull this sucker out because these are heavy body acrylic paints that we are about to get all into. Told you I want heavier bodies for some things, and I got this for Christmas, and this is about to come out and be used all spring. But to keep it kind of out of the way for now, it's right here, but I will be pulling those out and using those all for spring. Then in this tub right here, I used to make candles and soap, so I have scents for candles and soap in this tub right here. I have a mini art travel kit right here that we will probably break out at some point and talk about. And then this tub is all metallic paints. I don't paint with the metallics a lot, but I have them right here if I need them. And let's go back up to this shelf on the end down here. Okay, these are all the oil sticks we talked about. This is something for texture. I don't know if you can see it on there, but that's for texture. This is paint sticks, tempera paint sticks for posters, but hey, you can use them in art, trust me. Then this is oil sticks back here. These are some more little paint trays from Dollar Tree. And then I have the Art Graft. The Art Graft color. These are just pure color. They're water soluble. But this is pigment, dried pigment basically, and you activate it with water. So I have 2 of the Art Grafts. And then I have painter's tape back here if I need to tape off anything. And like I said, a lot of oil sticks. I have a ton of oil sticks. I love oil sticks. I have paint markers for rocks back here. I have some gold leaf back here as well. I have a small jelly plate. So all good stuff. Everything I use, but I try to keep it organized. And then I've talked about wanting to do more with oils. I've got these 3 base colors, red, blue, and yellow. So we are going to practice mixing oil paints and using them. So I love these. I got these at Jerry's Art-A-Rama last time I went. So anyway, guys, that is the shelf back here. Now there's one more area I'm going to show you really quickly. Okay, guys, the last things I'm going to show you are in my hands just because it was easier. I have the hanging wire that I string my art on when it's going off to a show or to a customer. And these are the hooks. You use these hooks, you attach the wire to them, and then you have a hanging system that will go in most galleries and most private homes. I have a bag of these. These are the keys that you squeeze your paint to the top with. That makes it easy to make sure you're using all your paint. But if you squeeze it and can't squeeze it anymore, cut the paint tube in half. Great way to use all your paint up. And then in here are more drawing pencils, inking pens. I have a few of the Micron in here if I want to do some really detailed work on a sketch. I have a great red pen if I want to do red pen on a sketch. I have more charcoal and more of these art pencils. These are the art pencils I use, again, off Amazon. So anyway, that is all my art stuff that I use. So guys, that is all my art supplies. That's what I used to create with every day. I only am buying right now what I use up. And the paints I have coming are greens, because all my greens are almost gone, as well as some pinks because I need some pinks to create a painting with. That's another thing. When you get commissions, you have to buy paint because they want colors that work in their scheme, and that is perfectly good. I mean, it's to be expected. So I have a commission coming up. I had to buy pinks, of course greens, but I am super excited. I hope you like seeing everything that goes into a painting. Hit that follow button, because we will be having a giveaway for the Derwent chalk pastel pencils. I showed it to you. Anyway, not this video, but I will label the video giveaway when it's giveaway time. So subscribe and follow along. Thanks for being here today, guys. Bye.